I've 37F, been with my husband, 44M, for 17 years. We have kids, a dog, and we used to own a business together. He has this friend who happens to be his little brother's ex-girlfriend, 30F. She's been in and out of our lives since she broke up with my brother-in-law over 12 years ago. Over the last 4 years or so, she's been constantly messaging my husband. She never sends me a message unless my husband tells her that he's not home, and she's on her way, happened only once in 4 years. She's engaged and has a baby on the way. Both my husband and his friends say they have a brother-sister relationship. My kids don't like her or her kid. Her kid is 7 years younger than our youngest child. They feel like they have to babysit her when she comes over. This is what bothers me about their relationship. I am never included in their conversations online, even when she invites herself over. My husband once told his brother that he thought that she was hot, and if he was younger and single, he would try to date her. My brother-in-law sent me a message to warn me about their relationship. When I spoke to my husband about it, he laughed it off and told me his brother was jealous. During an intimate moment, my husband told me that she was the only person he would ever ask to do a threesome with us. That was never discussed between us before, not even the option of a threesome. When she comes over, she barely speaks directly to me, always to my husband. I have to butt into the conversation for her to even acknowledge me. I'm tired of feeling like the third wheel in their friendship. Last year, he gave me one of his old cell phones because mine had broken. He hadn't logged out of his Messenger account, so I used it to my advantage and read their messages at the time. He had admitted to her that he had told his brother that she was hot, and that if he was younger and single, he would date her. He then told her I wasn't home when he said that, and I didn't know exactly what he said. Her response was to send him this emoji laughing face. Ever since, I feel like they both occasionally disrespect me in their conversations. All he does is talk about her. Often. He never makes her wait when she texts him. Yet sometimes when I text him, he takes a half hour to answer me. So tell me, would I be the asshole if I told him that he had to choose between his relationship with me and his friend? Edit. I have posted an update on my profile. Thanks to everyone for the response. Seriously, without your encouragement, I wouldn't have had the courage to talk to him. Update 1. We've had several talks over the last few weeks. At first, he wanted to work things out. As a matter of fact, he says he never meant any of it and he keeps apologizing for breaking my trust. Now, he's being a plain dick. Then, he flipped and decided that since I don't want to work on things, he left for his brother's house. He hasn't seen our kids in the past month. He talks to them on the phone, but that's about it. So far, to piss me off, he's cut mine and the kids' cell phone service. So I had to get us new SIM cards for that, because otherwise we wouldn't have phones. He's refused to pay anything in regards to school supplies and uniforms. He doesn't want to give me a dime. He hasn't done his taxes this year, which means I won't get any family allowance, CCTB, which cuts me $1,800 a month on my budget. I was able to sign the kids up for a local school supply distribution. The only thing they don't help with is the uniforms. Thankfully, only my older two need uniforms. My oldest has some old uniform shirts that will be passed down to my other child, which means my daughter will be wearing her older brother's shirts. She's really annoyed by the situation and has been giving me lots of attitude about it. But at the moment, I can't afford t-shirts at $35 a piece with the school's logo on it, so she has no choice. Unfortunately, uniforms are mandatory. I spoke to his friend as well. I told her everything that was going on. He told her he left me because I cheated on him, which isn't true, and she blames herself for what happened. Personally, I just think she was putting on a show. I haven't spoken to her since. If you ask me, I still think she is a hypocrite. Finances are tough. I barely make ends meet. Thankfully, food banks exist because once rent is paid, I barely have anything left over for bills and groceries. I still haven't been able to get the money for a lawyer yet. I've tried taking loans, but that didn't go over well. I've tried the borrow sub, and that hasn't worked either. Now it's like we're in a state of Cold War. He refuses to talk to me. For the time being, I guess he'll come around eventually. For the kids' sake, I hope. I feel like sometimes I'm drowning in all this mess. Edit 1. Lots of comments have come up on this post. I didn't expect as many comments. I've read as many as I can, and I'll address a few points. He's gone to stay with his other brother, the second one in the family. My STBX is the oldest of three. It's the youngest of his brothers who told me what's up. I filed my taxes back in March. He was supposed to file his a few weeks later. At the time, everything was good between us, and I listed him as my spouse, because that's what we've been doing for the past 17 years since we got married. I have to file my next taxes as single. The school uniforms. My oldest kids are in high school, a public high school. Uniforms are mandatory across the school board. I've contacted the school, and unfortunately, they don't have any low-cost uniforms. They suggested I take a look at local thrift shops. They do have an emergency budget for uniforms, but only a few have recently arrived in the country. I've contacted several lawyers. I know what my rights are. I know how much it's going to cost me to take him to court. He's quit his job, so suing him for alimony or whatever is going to be tough. I don't qualify for legal aid based on previous taxes. It takes at least 90 days of him being out of the family home for me to do anything against him. He's been gone for less than 2 weeks. As for family, I have been no contact with my parents since 2010. They do not know my younger children, nor do they care. I won't be getting into the reasons why here. His family has always been low contact with us. His parents have never liked me, and his brother who is staying with doesn't like me either. Edit 2. For those who are saying that the timeline doesn't add up. I left with my 4 kids at the beginning of July to visit my elderly grandmother who doesn't live in the same province as us. It was supposed to give us breathing time to try and work things out. When I came back with the kids, he was already gone. When I was at my grandmother's, he would barely talk to me, but talk to our kids via messenger. My trip with the kids to my grandmother's is a yearly trip. I didn't know that he would go from wanting to stay and work things out to leaving. I was blindsided by that. Edit 3. I do have a PayPal account. I'm not going to start making posts on FB blasting him. I'm not setting up a GoFundMe either. I don't want him finding anything out. I don't want to get charged with trying to ruin his reputation either. I don't want him to have anything to use against me in court. Update 2. It's been a long while since I've updated everyone about what's going on. It's been almost 8 long months since he left. Everyone was right when they said he would end up with her. They got married in a civil ceremony on Christmas Day. The only time he asked me for the kids was for the 2 weeks during Christmas break. He wanted them there for his wedding, apparently. He barely talks to the kids now. The kids text him several times a week to let him know what's up with school and their activities. He barely answers them. When he does, he complains about how I won't let him take them overnight. He still posts pictures of his new family daily on social media. They are still taking weekend trips and all that. I hate how he's flaunting everything for our older kids to see. Our oldest is going to college in the fall, and he's worried about covering his school fees. When he tried talking to his dad about it, his dad told him that now he's almost an adult, so it's not his problem anymore. I did take him to court. I found myself a good lawyer who took on my case for free. We had our first court date last week. It went well. I got full custody of the kids. We have another court date to determine child support. He's still not working legally, so the judge is having a hard time setting an amount for child support. So far, all the documents he brought to court show that he is on welfare and that his new wife pays their rent, bills, and vacations. I don't buy any of that. Neither does the court. He's ordered by the court to provide documentation that he's done his taxes this year, and he has to try and place himself within the job market in a reasonable amount of time in order to provide for the children he does have. Our next court date is in April. Hopefully he's going to get his shit sorted out. As for me, I'm still working 2 jobs to make ends meet. I'll be moving next month with the kids into an apartment in a co-op building. My rent will be much lower than what I am paying now. I'm stressing out about my finances. Moving is expensive. I have to hire a company to help me move all our stuff. Plus, with my son starting college soon, summer break and all that, I'm stressed out all day, every day. All I see are expenses coming up. I'm still exhausted all the time. I work more than I am at home with my kids. I hope that within the next year, things get better for us. I've started my own small business online. Hopefully that picks up too. I haven't started dating either. I'm not interested in meeting anyone yet. For those of you who wrote to me saying, I blew up my life and family and called me the asshole in this situation, I don't think I was the asshole. I deserve better. If I am to ever update this again, it will be on my own page. Story 2, I, 25F, will try to make this as short and sweet as possible. Also, sorry for any formatting errors. I'm on mobile and I'm in the middle of working a double on no sleep. But this has been bothering me for about 3 days now. At the onset of the pandemic, my husband, 26 million, and I wound up unemployed and had to move in with my parents. My dad, 50-ish, and my stepmom, 40-ish, are the most wonderful humans in the world. My stepmom's mother, who I'll refer to as Marie from here on, late 70s-ish, not so much. We moved in at the end of October, after our lease expired at our previous residence, and a couple of days after moving in, Marie asked my husband and I if we had any Christmas wishes, and was adamant that price was no object. She's made it very clear in the past 17 years that she didn't want her daughter marrying my father, and that the added baggage of my sister and I made it even less ideal. But I assumed because she asked me that maybe she wanted to bury the hatchet, so I was honest. I mentioned wanting a new sewing machine. I showed her the one I wanted, which is about $200. I didn't think much of the exchange until last Friday, December 18th. Marie was leaving to go to see family a few states over for the holidays, so she called the family to come over so she could hand out gifts. I was just getting home from work, so my cousins, aunts, and uncles had already begun opening their gifts. 3 of my cousins and 1 of my aunts got the exact sewing machine I had shown Marie. All the other kids got stuff like video games, hoodies, sneakers, and gift cards to different places. I admittedly got a little excited. I went last, Marie handed me my gift, I opened it, and it was a sewing machine box filled with new towels. She said, I know you guys are having money troubles, thought that might be helpful. I waited until everyone left, but was genuinely upset because I know that she knows we have towels, washcloths, etc., because we brought them with us from our old place, and we have our own designated cupboard for those things in our bathroom. When I got my new job, I took my first and second paycheck and started buying gifts for everyone. I spent nearly $150 to order a giant hand-woven dyed and beaded tapestry from a local indigenous bead artist for Marie. I wanted to get her something I knew she would love and cherish because I thought maybe we were getting past the previous 17 years of hostility. She and I are both close to 50% indigenous, and it's a big part of her lifestyle and aesthetic, as it is mine. I genuinely don't know at this point if she was trying to be malicious, but I feel she was, having me open it in front of everyone, and I felt absolutely humiliated. My stepmom and dad agree with me and say I should keep it, as does my husband. But when I asked a few family friends, they said they think it sounds like I'm mad that I didn't get an expensive gift. I feel it's blatant favoritism. Would I be the asshole if I kept the tapestry for myself? Edit for clarity. Because of work, I was unable to go pick up Marie's gift in time for the gift exchange, which is why she hasn't gotten it yet. Update 1. I called my stepmom on my 15-minute break and told her that I would not be giving her the gift and that I would be getting her something else. I don't know what yet, but I'm sure I can come up with a shitty generic gift between now and New Year's. Thank you all so much for your honesty and candor. Update 2. Update. Part 2. Met with my stepmom for an early lunch. Here at about 2 p.m. CST. She's expecting a family Skype call from Marie, and she's going to address it head-on there in front of the entire family. We'll update further for anyone invested, I guess. Update 3. Tiny update. My stepmom is taking me to get my sewing machine this afternoon. Thank you so much to everyone who offered to buy or crowdfund one for me. You're all so kind, and I love each and every one of you. Happy holidays to all of you. Final update. Third and final update. My stepmom started off by saying that she wanted everyone to hush because she had something she wanted to discuss. She went in on how Marie has always been kind and generous, but that this year she was untoward and mean in a very aggressive way. And then she had me tell everyone what she did. She kept trying to get my uncle to end the call, but he refused. My stepmom had let him know beforehand that this all was going down and that he was not to cut the call. I told everyone what happened, as well as some other things she's done over the years, especially around the holidays. Marie was mortified. I showed her the tapestry and told her the thought process that went behind this being my gift for her. How much I had hoped that her seemingly going out of her way to get me a gift was finally a chance for us to bridge the gap between us and have a relationship. And then informed her that I would be gifting the tapestry to someone else who actually deserved my kindness. I told her she could expect to find her gift in her room when she returned home, and that I don't care if she apologizes or doesn't, because the damage is done. My sister and I did nothing to deserve the treatment we'd been given, and that I have no desire to be anything more than cordial with her from this point on, whether we live in the same house or not. I've decided to just buy her some cheap scented candles and call it a day. My younger cousins decided they do not want their sewing machines, as did my aunt. They all decided they're going to give me one of them and try to get refunds on the other two, and we're all going to do some sort of spa day together. My stepmom took over again after that because I got emotional, and she laid into Marie for making a public spectacle of her trickery, and words were had between them, but my stepmom held fast. We ended the call shortly after. My stepmom and I are on the way to my aunt's to porch pick up my new sewing machine. I also reached out to the now former friends to let them know that I don't appreciate them siding with Marie and making me second-guess myself, and that I will be civil, but nothing more, as I didn't deserve their harsh judgments. The tapestry has been packed up nicely and will be shipped to one of my absolute best friends tomorrow so that he can love and appreciate it, because it's beautiful and deserves to be cherished. Thank you to each and every one of you for your honesty and your words, kind and harsh alike. This has really made the holiday so much better for me and has oddly brought my parents and I even closer. Blessed Yule, happy holidays, I love you all.